Hey, what's up? I'm Ryan, and in this video I'm going to talk about Blender's smoothing feature, as well as some of the issues you can run into when using it. So, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so what is smoothing? Well, if you look at these three examples here, they're all shaded flat. So just to show you that, I'll select this object here and go to Object, Shade Flat. So, no difference. So let's try some of the other shading features. So I'll select the second sphere and go to Object, Shade Smooth. And now we have a completely smooth looking sphere. Now if we select the cylinder and go to Object, Shade Auto Smooth, we have a mix of flat and smooth shading based on an angle that you can set here. Smoothing in general is an important feature to keep in mind, as it really helps push your artwork to the next level. I've seen plenty of beginners whose work has basically been ruined by the improper use of smoothing. So I'll set up a new scene and show you a few issues you may run into when using smoothing. So we have these two cubes here, and I'll apply smoothing to one of them. So I'll go to Object, Shade Smooth. Now we get this really weird shading across our cube, so let's take a closer look. So what we'll do first is combine both of our cubes, so I'll select them and hit Ctrl J. Now that they're joined, let's view both of them in edit mode. Either hit tab or go up here and change this to edit mode. So the reason this cube seems a bit strange is because of something called normals, in this case split normals. So in order to see these split normals, we'll head over to the overlay tab and look for normals. It's towards the bottom here, and we'll select display normals. And if you wish, you can make the normal display larger by scaling them here. Okay, so on the flat shaded cube, we have three lines pointing in three different directions from a single vertice. But on our shaded cube, it appears that we only have one, and it's actually pointing diagonally from our vertices. So in order to understand what these pink lines represent, let's take a closer look at our shaded flat cube. So why do we have three lines coming out of one vertex? Well, that's because there are three lines or three surfaces connected to this one vertex. So if I select the face and delete it, we only have two lines on these vertices. So if I undo that, you can see that the line's back. These lines are relative to the direction that they're facing. So this face is pointing Y, this one at X, and this one Z. So in order to get this flat shading, it shades them relative to the direction they're facing. It simulates how a real cube would be shaded in the real world. But if we take a look at this smooth shaded cube, all three pointers are actually overlapping one another and pointing diagonally outwards in order to simulate a low poly approximation of a sphere. So without getting too technical, when light hits a sphere, it splits into two hemispheres. The side facing the light is bright, while the side facing away is dark. The boundary between the two is a circular line known as the equator. That's what this weird shading is about. It's trying to replicate that, but on a cube. So if you do run into this issue, applying a shade auto smooth would probably be a good start. You can also access shading through the Object Data Properties tab over here, then going down to normals and enabling auto smooth. Something else that's pretty useful is that you can also set manual smoothing by selecting faces and then applying different smoothing types to your selection. Now there's one last thing I want to discuss, which is the Geometry Data tab. So there are times when you import objects into Blender, and no matter what you do, you can't change the smoothing type. So I started a new scene and imported this cube. It has the wrong smoothing applied to it, and it's baked into the model, and no matter what I do, I can't change the smoothing type. So I've got my object selected, and I'll go over here to Object Data Properties, and I'll go down to Geometry Data. Now if your object has smoothing applied, right or wrong, but it's locked and can't be changed, you select this Clear Custom Split Normals data, and now you can add any type of smoothing to your object. Working in the film and games industry, you don't always get a lot of time to make your own assets, and have to rely on packs or random downloads from the internet, and 9 times out of 10 you'll run into some issue like this. I'm actually super relieved I found this feature, as I had to keep jumping to other softwares to fix these type of issues. So yeah, I hope this helps you out as much as it did me. So if you found this video helpful, feel free to give it a like, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll try and help you out. That's all from me, I'll see you around.